Look, I've got my Wattpad.
WAP?
No, Wattpad.
It's upside down.
That says mop.
Well, good thing I can do this. My Wattpad.
WAP or Watt?
Wattpad.
Oh.
Watt. Wet ass tablet? No, we don't want a wet ass tablet.
No,
that would be very
puppy.
bad.
All right.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, what are we doing? Am I gonna redeem good daddy points?
No, probably not.
Never.
Let's try that again. Am I gonna redeem good daddy points?
No, still no.
Hello!
And happy holidays.
Holidays?
Like ho ho.
No, I got
ho.
it. Oh, no.
Ho ho ho.
Precisely.
Merry Fistmas. And welcome back to What's the Safeword. I'm Am.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And I'm Paladin.
You have a sign. You spend so much time on it.
Paladin is back.
Back by popular demand, Paladin is back today to play another game show where we learn just how much you guys do or don't know about important things within a...
Wait, define important things.
Do you think PrEP is important?
Yes.
Well then, yes, it is a very important thing.
Okay.
Today we are playing a game I'm calling Be Prepared. Are you ready, Paladin?
I am not ready.
I'm ready. I am going to earn all the daddy points.
Oh, are they daddy points today?
Yeah.
Because last time they were good boy points, but I'm not sure if...
That's why it was stacked against me.
Okay.
If I win daddy points, do I become the new daddy?
Let's see.
Today's game show is going to be pitting off two of my favorite people against each other because I don't know what says holiday spirit as much as pitting your family against each other and seeing who wins while also drinking things. So we hope that you guys are having a great holiday season and getting all of your season's meetings or just being very not. Because today's episode is all about sex, PrEP, and just HIV and how we treat or stigmatize that general topic. And so today I've brought two professionals in the gay sphere.
Professional.
And a daddy.
Professional gays.
And today's topic is not just for the gays. We are going to be talking about PrEP and HIV on the whole.
On the whole, really.
And with 37.7 million currently living with HIV and 33.6 million having died over the course of our lifetime, it's still a conversation that we need to have, and it's even more important to talk about not only the preventative measures, but how it can just be safe with sex in general. So I'm especially excited that Mr. is sponsoring today's episode and making PrEP not only easily accessible, but continuing this conversation for us.
Thank you, mister.
Which is not just us saying thank you to anyone who identifies as a Mr.
Mr.
But, yeah, no, Mr. And we'll talk about them later, but let's just get right into it. Speaking of PrEP, question number one.
Oh my god,
I feel
okay.
like we're back to
This
the
was
puppet.
fast.
Yeah, no, I know. We're getting right into it. Question number one. What does PrEP stand for?
Oh.
HIV. Yeah. Uh-huh. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I think so. So,
Daddy, go ahead.
so it's pre-exposure prophylactic,
Okay, Paladin.
but
I think that's the right answer. I put preparation because I did not know the answer.
no, it's but so,
Oh no. Daddy, you are correct.
yay!
I just could not remember for the life of me.
It does count as a preparation tool.
Did
But
I spell prophylactic right?
it actually stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. But
Prophylaxis.
I will count that as a good daddy point.
Woohoo! I get one.
Speaking of accessibility and just making PrEP easier to get and starting a conversation, this question goes, who is today's sponsor?
Mister!
Points for both of you. And points and shout outs and thanks to today's sponsor, Mr. Now today's sponsor, Mr. wants us to remind you that PrEP is a 1-a-day pill that is 99% effective at preventing HIV. With Mr., you can consult securely online with a licensed physician and complete all of your required PrEP STI testing and panels at home. Mr. prescribes PrEP online, delivers it right to your door, and operates in all 50 states. Even the ones that don't do good sex education.
So this is amazing because I have friends like in Wisconsin that doctor does not know it. They don't even want to go in and have the conversation and do the education, so they can go online and get it no matter where you are now. That's amazing.
And the best part, whether you're covered by insurance or not, wherever you live, Mr. will make sure that you are covered properly. And Mr. is a free service that works with over 100 different nonprofit organizations to make sure that PrEP is covered for you. Again, it is a free service. Why are you not on PrEP if you are someone that has the sex that needs the PrEP?
There is actually no reason not to be able to get on PrEP. You can't blame your doctor now.
But you can thank Mr. Now, when I first tried to get PrEP and Truvada, I was like paying a copay every month, and I would go to like my local Walgreens. I'd have to wait in a line, pick it up. One time, my doctor forgot to put in my prescription, and I got to the front, and the lady was like, "Oh, here's your prescription, sir." And I was like, "Thank you." And then she said, "Okay, that'll be $1,010.
Oh my
please."
God.
Again, this is back in like 2012, 2013. Because my prescription didn't get refilled, I was paying like I was paying what you would have to pay if you weren't prescribed.
Yeah, and Truvada, when it first came out, was insanely expensive, like $2,000 a month for a 30-day supply.
Prep work
They take
for
the
your
prep
prep.
Points
work
for the
out
puns,
of
points
it.
for the puns, points for the puns.
No,
Any
no
points.
points.
And last but not least, to keep your sexual health up to date, Mr. does check-ins every 3 months, which is what is recommended to make sure your liver's good and that you're just staying HIV negative. And all from the comfort of your home. So again, thank you again, Mr., for not only making this conversation possible, sponsoring today's episode, but allowing me to berate my family over the holidays and see how much they do or don't know about PrEP.
I know some things.
Are you guys on PrEP?
I am.
I am. Yep.
And now they just switched me to the generic form, which I cannot pronounce.
Descovy?
Descovy.
Yes.
Is that the generic form or like the modified form?
There's actually 2 different versions of PrEP, which, as Daddy said, one was Truvada, which came a while back, and Descovy, and we'll learn more about that as well today. And to that point, like, I had to actually educate my doctor on what PrEP was back in the day when I asked for it, you know.
I've heard this happens a lot.
Well, and because so many different, like, communities are disproportionately affected by it, we actually see that people that are AFAB or assigned female at birth, or even other groups of minorities like people of color, trans people, are marginally more affected by it because of where they live. Maybe there's certain poverty areas, or just the fact that we don't do outreach. Now, we're 3 gay men, and we get the most PrEP promotion because we
Or
were
the target audience.
yeah, but that's not the only ones that are being affected. In fact, the rates for people of color and women are skyrocketing because we don't provide, we don't promote, we don't make sure that they're prepared, and we don't educate either. Which, speaking of ways you can catch HIV, this brings us to our next question. Question number 2. Which of these situations could spread HIV? A, eating a banana that was injected with HIV. B, breastfeeding. C, getting a mosquito bite. Or D, sitting on a toilet with bodily fluids. Which, just wipe your toilet, please. But which of these 4 situations could actually spread HIV? And I want you to explain your answer too as we go through it.
What is banana injection?
Like if someone for whatever reason put HIV in or on your foods.
I have more questions. How would you do that?
There was an actual story and study and news piece where someone was like, I got infected with HIV due to a banana. So do you think that was real or not? That could be. I don't know. We're going to find out. Daddy, do you want to go first?
So I had 2 possible because I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So the only way would typically being the exchange of bodily fluids. So the only one that in yours was breastfeeding, so I did breastfeeding.
Okay. So you went with B.
Although I do remember a scare about mosquitoes at one time.
Okay.
But I think that was debunked.
Okay. Paladin.
So I put banana injection because I did not know what that meant. Like, do you put a vial of HIV into a banana and someone
Eats it?
Yeah.
So, all of the other instances besides the right answer were actually myths and stories that news people actually run back in the day. Some of them like 2017,
I remember
15.
the mosquito one.
And the answer is B, breastfeeding.
Yes, because it is a bodily fluid coming out of a body.
Mm-hmm. And again, the only way that you can get or be contracted or get infected with HIV is through a bodily fluid. So that means semen, vaginal fluids, breastfeeding, blood, and you have to be... You know what's actually funny? Not spit.
Oh, you know, back in the day, I actually was terrified that I had contracted HIV because someone with HIV was talking to me and the spit went directly, I felt it hit my eye as he was talking, and then I went into the research and it was like, no, you can't get it that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God.
There's so much misinformation. There were so many scare tactics. When I was researching, there were even stories of like Pepsi officials saying like, oh, someone that had HIV had blood go into the Pepsi and now there's Pepsi with HIV, and it's just like...
Pepsi with HIV.
So, to the banana question, even outside the body, you have to have a large amount of the virus and it only lasts for so long. Even if it was on the outside of a banana or injected into a banana, which someone... The fuck is injecting bananas? You'd have to have so much of it and it would have to get right into that part of your body that it would actually make you infected. So that is not possible.
It seemed very sci-fi. It seemed very, very sci-fi.
So if I am correct, I have 3 points.
And I have 1.
Do you?
I am 1/3 the daddy you are.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I guess we'll see by the end of the game.
Now the puppy's trash talking.
Fight, 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 fight. It's actually interesting. It's like congenital or even breastfeeding from mother to child can absolutely spread HIV. But with mosquitoes, the other part of the question, mosquitoes actually just spit out saliva when they bite you. They don't actually spit out other blood.
And that's the itchy part.
Sure.
Their saliva makes you itchy.
I don't know. I'm just talking about PrEP today. I don't know about the mosquito bites being itchy or not. I'm not a doctor. But they're not actually spitting any blood or spreading blood in that way. So
They're spitting
mosquito bites. Yes, they're spitting itchiness, which
And that's the technical term for it.
it's not the technical term for it. Speaking of HIV and possible infection, the next question 3. Which of these does not reduce the risk of HIV infection? A, abstinence. B, getting circumcised. C, mouthwash. Or D, PrEP. And I don't just mean like a pep in your step.
So wait, does not reduce the risk?
Does not reduce the risk.
So this is like a double negative.
It is, because I love confusing questions.
PrEP, like cheer?
Well, if you don't know what PrEP is, then...
Wait, does not reduce the risk of...
Yes. Okay. I got the
Wait,
All
what
I'm
were
doing is
the
looking at you.
What were the middle two?
I hope I spell this right.
You don't have to spell it
I am
right.
so confused, but I think this is correct.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, answers. Ooh, Daddy, you are correct.
Yes!
Paladin, you're not doing so well.
I'm not. Nope.
What did you say? Circumcision? No, that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So,
Isn't that the point? That it has nothing to do with it?
that it does not.
Does
So all the
not
other
reduce.
things actually help to reduce infections. Circumcisions
So circumcision does
help
yes.
to reduce infection. Yeah,
Interesting.
I'm gonna explain it. Daddy, well, I'm scratching my leg. I got a mosquito bite.
Oh my god!
So there's actual studies around mouthwash, and mouthwash doesn't kill infections like HIV, which is present in cum or semen, but it does kill some bacterial infections, so like a gonorrhea. It actually helps to reduce, but it does not, at least according to studies, help to reduce HIV. However, getting circumcised has proven that it can actually reduce your risks by 60% in men
Wow.
having sex.
I did not know that.
I
Yeah.
just thought it was a stigma question.
So to be clear though, we're not promoting circumcision.
No, but it is a fact that says that the inner cells of the foreskin contains Langerhans cells with HIV receptors. These cells are likely to be primary points of viral entry into the penis of an uncircumcised man.
I did not know that.
Did not know that.
If you got skin in the game, you're actually better.
Skinny.
Yeah, what? Better skin? No, that's not a fact. Although, bonus points. What is PrEP?
PrEP.
Yeah, you write it down. And obviously, like, we're not promoting abstinence either, but if you're not having sex, you're not gonna catch HIV. So like that's also a fact. Don't look at his answer. Don't look at his answer.
I've already written mine. He looked at mine.
Okay.
Cheater. Pumpkin eater.
I mean, I knew this one.
3, 2, 1. Points to both of you. PrEP stands for post-exposure prophylactic, which is something that if you think you might have been exposed or infected, you can take within 72 hours of that window to lessen the chances that you will contract HIV. And it should be said that after that fact, you should be very good about not only taking PrEP, but then using condoms for at least a few weeks to a few months to make sure that you don't give it to anyone else.
I actually did this back in 2012. I had a condom break and was worried that it had been transmitted to me and called my doctor, and they told me about this for the first time. Did 2 pills for 3 days, and then that's how I learned about PrEP after that.
Yeah, it can be a little hard on your system, which, I mean,
I had no side effects.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had all the side effects. I well, not with PrEP, but with PrEP, I had a lot of symptoms.
Oh.
So I was nauseous for like weeks at a time, and it really didn't reduce until I switched over from
Dairy.
until I switched over to Descovy, which is has a better formula for like slow release, so it helped me out a lot.
But you get nauseous every time you eat a banana.
Oh yeah, 100%. So this was much worse.
And that's not injected with HIV.
Oh my god. I will say that I actually had, when I was using Truvada back in the day, for the first 2 weeks of ever using it, like I always had an upset stomach. You'd always be a little like nauseous or not feeling great. But when I switched over to Descovy after COVID, because I wasn't taking it during COVID, my stomach was never upset.
So I must have an iron stomach because I have never experienced one.
You've eaten a lot of things.
Ouch.
You eat a lot of very problematic things.
And this is why I don't over sanitize things.
You could sanitize things a little bit more though, considering how many of these things are sticky right now. I'm sitting in your chair, and I don't want to know what happened here. But also, I kind of do.
It's a lot.
Oh.
A lot has happened in the chair.
So I did actually have an exposure before PrEP because I didn't know PrEP existed. And where I grew up, there was a lot of stigma about even education for things like PrEP or preventative. Anything but abstinence was bad. So when I did have an exposure, I had to sit down with that person and have them really point blank explain to me, well, what does this mean? How does it work? Like, what do I need to do from here? And I was not educated on the subject. But thankfully, I found a mentor that helped walk me through it, and we got through that together, and I ended up okay. And now I take it once a day, and I'm good.
I'm glad that you were at least able to find someone. But even more case in point, why things like Mr., which allows you to do at-home consultations, get your stuff in the mail, it's so much easier. But actually, that leads us to the next question. Paladin, well done. You get an extra point for that.
Yes.
I
think I'm at 3.
You need it. You need
Wait
it.
a second.
Anyway.
No more random points.
Speaking of states and places that don't teach proper sex education, the next question says, according to the last study done by the CDC, what top states in the US had the highest rates of HIV infections in this last year? I let you write down 3 states, and if you get any of the top 10, I'll give you a point.
Highest rate of new infection.
Yeah, just in this last year. Per capita, so it's the number of people per 100,000 people. So you get to write down 3 states, and if you get any of the top 10, you get a point for each of them. So, 3, 2, 1. Florida, California, and New York. Okay. Mississippi, Alabama, and New York. So that's actually really funny. You both got New York on there. Paladin, you get 3 points.
Yay!
Mississippi
Wow.
is absolutely up there at lovely number 6. And Alabama and New York are both tied for number 10, so you get both points there.
Oh, wow.
Daddy, you get Florida and New York, but California is actually number 11.
Oh,
So
is
you
it?
only get 2
Okay.
points.
Well, I was off by 1.
But the top states being, from the top to the bottom, Georgia at number 1, Florida at 2, Louisiana at 3, Nevada at 4, Mississippi, then
Go
Maryland,
Nevada.
Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, and New York.
That is a lot of states in the South.
In fact, the South has the most average of all of the parts of the country per capita.
I should have known Maryland though.
No, but you got 3 points. What do you
I
mean?
did. Oh, totally excited. So excited. But I should have known Maryland.
But you will notice that sex education is kind of important when it comes to the conversation of HIV and AIDS. Can you guess what parts of the country don't
have sex education?
Don't have.
And it's so sad because it's so preventative. I mean, none of that had to happen. There just needs to be more education and more people taking it.
Only 18 of our states actually provide medically accurate, and that's again, medically accurate sex education, and that's only if they actually teach sex education. On the list of the top 5, I think only Louisiana said that they did medically accurate education, but they don't mandate it. So it's kind of pointless in that. Isn't that fun?
No,
Isn't that fun?
it's not fun at all.
Like even when we took biology, we never went over the reproductive system because they would bring up questions. So we just never did.
And of all of our states, 36 of them allow parents to opt their kids out of sex education. So even if they taught it.
My birth mother took me out of sex education.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did that? Well, I mean, clearly that
She
didn't
also-
work for you.
She also took me out of the music program because they played YMCA from the Village People in my music class.
But I do kind of want to jump back to our stories about just having PrEP and not having the best experiences stomach-wise. You said that you had some symptoms. I've had some symptoms. Daddy, you've got an iron stomach apparently. But that leads us to our next question. Across the board of studies, what % of people had issues with or had side effects on PrEP? The closest to the percentage gets a point. So 0 to 100, like
Any symptoms whatsoever?
symptoms, yeah. And then we'll talk about some symptoms. But
Is it closest without going over?
closest.
So is this like The Price is Right?
Yeah.
Whoever gets closer?
Yeah, whoever gets closer, but there's no going over or under or anything. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay, 6% and 9%. The answer is 2%.
No!
Point for Paladin. Good job.
Yay.
Yeah, and actually you get an extra point for that because you were
No!
closer.
No.
Because 2 is the answer, so
Do you
therefore.
want me to start making up my point?
Together we have 69%.
Nice.
So, medical studies show that a very small percentage, just 2% in most studies, reported adverse effects from the medication. And adverse effects, you know what? I'll give you guys bonus points. For every adverse effect that you write down in the next 10 seconds, I will give you a point. Ready? Go. 5, 4, 3. I love this game. 2, 1. And pens down, pens down, pens down. Put up your. Did you really want to get one answer?
Nausea.
Wait, what's that?
It was a start of diarrhea.
I'll give you that.
No,
Okay.
you cannot.
Nausea,
No,
diarrhea.
no, during the 10 seconds. If you
Nausea, sniffles. Sniffles is not on my list of, but dizziness and nausea, absolutely.
Okay, so I get the 2 points.
You sure do.
2
Daddy.
points each.
No!
Puppies don't have enough.
This is why I don't play games with you. You cheat.
So, it's said that some people have a better experience with Descovy because it doesn't attack the liver as much. And in fact, what causes a lot of these side effects is that HIV and PrEP medications are making it so your liver is better creating enzymes that fight off HIV. And that's why we see some people with problems with the liver, which is, again, where you should talk to a doctor. But there's also, as we've said, nausea, headaches, vomiting, dizziness, loss of appetite, a rash, weight fluctuations, tiredness, abdominal pain, and many more. It's kind of like one of those Pepto-Bismol commercials.
No daddy points for me.
Daddy's way ahead at this point.
You are very.
As it should be.
So you guys have been on PrEP, but for how long?
I started PrEP back in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I started 5 years ago, 5.5 at this point.
Okay.
Before we opened up our relationship, that was something we talked about, like, was safety and what that looked like. And that mentor who helped me after my scare helped bring up that direction. So we had a mentorship for about a good 5 years, and he helped me figure it out, and I've been on it ever since.
Wow. And I've been on it since, off and on actually, 2013. But again, that's off and on as it made sense. There were parts of my life where I had a partner, we were very monogamous. There were parts of my life where I had partners who were HIV positive and we were open. And then there were parts in all of our lives where we were stuck indoors for an entire year and I just didn't want to have to worry about it.
And there were parts where you were only having sex with me, so it didn't make sense for us both to do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the side effects of something, the benefits of PrEP, Truvada, Descovy, whatever you're taking, far outweigh the negatives. I don't mind having an upset stomach if that means that I don't have to deal with something that might be a bit problematic or harder to live with, but it also isn't a death sentence. And I think that we need to be very conscious and very upfront about that. Is like the stigma around it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, we're at this point in our life where we almost have a cure. Like there are people that are working on it constantly, and it's actually.
And truthfully, with the breakthrough of drugs, even HIV positive people who are undetectable can't transmit it.
Which brings us to our last question. Now, we know that PrEP is a 1-a-day pill, but for those who have anal sex, how many days do you have to take the pill for it to be its most effective? Like, till it's really in the system, so you're totally covered? A, 1 week. B, a fortnight. C, 3 weeks. Or D, 69 days.
Do you know what a fortnight is?
Fortnite is a video game where they dab a lot and
They dab a lot?
they dab.
Can you
dab?
show me a dab for extra points?
I can.
I am so behind.
Achoo!
Points for both of you. Answers in 3, 2, 1. So a 1 week and a fortnight. Daddy got it right. It is A, 1 week. Now, actually, when I started doing Truvada, like my doctors said you had to take it for at least 2 weeks before you had any sex.
He was just covering his
No,
bases.
totally. But now we've gotten to a point where when it comes to anal sex, 1 week is all you have to take, 1 a day with those pills, but you have to keep taking it. It's not like I had it for 2 days, so I have 20%. You know, you have to have that full protection or it's not going to work.
No missed dosages.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that helped me was I started taking my Descovy at night, and then even if I had nausea, I was asleep for it, so it was an issue.
You slept through your nausea.
Yeah, basically. But I wouldn't have any symptoms during the day,
Never
so
heard
like
that.
taking it at night was a bigger deal for me. But like, I mean, I've also got like other health issues, so it's not really.
I think I'm just gonna get all my colds at night now. And
Stop
then...
it. But what's actually interesting as we talk about and just normalize the fact that it's not just gay men that need PrEP, it takes about 20 days for vaginal sex havers to be protected because the juices and membranes all around there are a little bit different.
Juices.
So
No,
more
don't-
than a fortnight.
You didn't get your battle royale. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No battle royale for you.
Number 1 victory royale, yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down.
I assume that's a Fortnite reference. Is that a Fortnite reference?
Negative points.
Woo! Finally.
Shared across the board.
You fucked up.
No, but the shared negative points across the board. Everyone
Why?
gets negative points. Because do you know what a battle royale is, Daddy?
Who cares? I win.
And that was our last question. And today's winner, can I get a drum roll, please? Is Daddy! Congratulations!
Yay! I win.
You win your very own Jingle Ball.
Jingle balls! Oh my god, I'm so excited. I always wanted jingle balls.
Oh, you're putting okay, that makes sense.
Thank you for that.
Perfect.
So thank you again, Mister, for sponsoring today's episode and making this fun possible. Do you guys have any last-minute comments or questions about PrEP?
Don't be afraid to talk about it, truly.
I've been doing it for 6 years, no issues.
And as we see the decrease of HIV infections, I think it's more important now more than ever that we just have these open conversations. We destigmatize HIV because it's not a death sentence, and so many people live with it without any complications. So why not take PrEP?
You know, the other thing I like about PrEP is nobody has asked me my HIV status for 6-7 years. That used to be the #1 question people who didn't know each other would ask. And it's no longer a factor in the conversation.
Because now we have open conversations more often. We're able to just talk to each other and treat each other like humans, not an STI or an STD that we're gonna maybe catch. Like, we should be able to be our sexual selves and not worry about stigma that exists in our community.
Nod your head
Yeah,
again.
do you agree, Paladin? How hard do you agree, though? You don't agree. No, you don't agree. I'm so confused.
All they agree.
I'm so confused. Anyway, regardless of if you're on PrEP or not, and why aren't you? Check out Mister.
And Mr. makes it easy.
Always have a safe word, and today's safe word is...
Jingle balls!
I'm never going to hear the end of that.
So, don't forget to leave those questions down below if you have any questions about PrEP or HIV. Don't forget to leave a like, Daddy, if what?
If you like ringing bells, ring that bell.
And Paladin, what can they do so they make sure that they see episodes every week?
Subscribe.
And you'll hopefully always see whenever we post something. But more than that, happy holidays, everyone.
Yes.
Now's the time of year that you get to just cuddle up and just poke the people that you love.
And play with your jingle balls.
And, well, that too. And we will see y'all next time.
Bye!
And hey, if you've been especially naughty this year, ooh.
Ooh, go get our Christmas
Ooh.
merch.
Or maybe you want to get beat.
You want to get beat?
I can always rely on my friends.
To beat you consensually.
Consensually. Yeah. I'm always told it's consensual.
That's not how that works.
'Cause it
That's
is.
you're not told it's no. Thank you, Paladin, for helping us.
Yes,
navigate.
thank you. Thank you for losing for once.
And of course, loser today bottom. So
Perfect. Deal struck.